All right, welcome to Razor Radio. Andy fucking Ford right here, and we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, and we're live on. And I can hear the echo. Haha. With Luke from Crusadist, Chicago area metal. Very good death thrash, and the opening track we just heard there tonight was what would I just play? Noble Savage.
Right on.
Yeah, I was trying to play some deep cuts, a little bit of deep cuts for you guys. And we're gonna talk Chicago. We're gonna talk the tour. Tell us about the album that came out first, Luke.
So the last record that we put out was our debut album that was titled The Unholy Grail. Mm-hmm. So that album, that one came out in 2019. We released it independently. We had shopped around to some labels and whatnot, but we had opted to release it ourselves.
Did you get any feedback from the labels?
Yeah, we had a lot of really good feedback. But we, at the time, we were still pretty new, so that we, some of them weren't quite ready to push us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always. I think it's always best for a band to go independent, maybe on their first.
Yeah,
I mean, the biggest metal band on the planet went independent on their first record.
Yeah, totally. And yes, we released that one independently, and it's been an awesome experience since we put that record out. You know what I mean? I mean, we did the best we could to do it as professional as possible, and it worked out really well. And we were supposed to do a tour on that record right when COVID hit, so we were going to do an East Coast tour. And we had to pull the plug on that like 3 days before we were supposed to leave. It was a huge bummer, but a ton of bands had to experience it. So now we have the opportunity to tour a couple times and still support that record, and it's been really cool. That we all poured our hearts and souls into that album, so we're still really proud of it. I mean, even though we're working on the next one, we're still really proud of that record.
I think it's a good fucking blend of death and thrash.
Hell yeah.
Really good blend of it for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of bands will go either to death metal or to. I mean, you guys almost got it perfect.
Hell yeah, appreciate that.
I hear a lot of some of our West Coast brethren and you guys too, influence wise, like Warbringer, maybe a little fucking Ex Mortis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of both those guys. So yeah, I'm always jamming World's Torn Asunder by Warbringer and hell, Slave to the Sword, all those fucking records, man. I'm always jamming them.
How about fucking Kneel Before the Steel? That's probably
hell yeah.
Favorite Ex Mortis tracks. It goes way back.
Hell yeah.
Then, have you checked out Nova Ring?
Yeah, I've listened to them a few times.
Yeah, talk about pure shred. Those guys are guitarded.
Yeah, Nova Ring's great. And then is Immortal Guardian out there by you guys too?
I do not know.
Is that California? Because those guys are wicked. Their front man is an incredibly good guitar player, and he plays keys too. It's crazy.
Kind of like Conan.
Yeah, dude's wicked.
yeah. Conan's brutal. Before we get more in you guys, I want to talk about the tour.
Sure.
What were some of your top 2021 albums since I got you right here at the top of the year? What did you listen to this year?
The albums from this year?
Yeah. We just did our top 10 list like on the 30th, last week.
So I'm trying to think. I'm terrible at fucking keeping track of which albums came out when. But I was listening to the new Unleashed a lot.
I like that record.
Yeah, I'm a big Unleashed fan. I mean, the one before this one, what was that? The Hunt for White Christ. I was blown away by that record. I'm a huge Frederick Folkair fan. His lead playing just blows me away every time I listen to it, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Firespawn too. I mean, rest in peace, LG Petrov. But Firespawn is sick with Frederick. I'm trying to think what else did I listen to. I like the new. I don't remember if that came out this year, but I like the new Vader a lot. De Profundis.
Yeah. That's good. I'll give you a cool Unleashed story from back in the day, though.
Hell yeah.
There used to be a place called the Berkeley Square in Berkeley. It's mid 90s, I think 96, 95. Mm-hmm. And we're hanging out. We go all see all the shows there. Machine Head was basically ruling the Bay Area at the time. And I was actually hanging out with Rob that night from Machine Head. And Unleashed was headlining. And we were wandering through the little maze in the back area, fucking around. And we accidentally opened Unleashed's dressing room door, and they were getting ready to go on, and they were all drinking out of horns and shit, dude. And it was like, oh, don't mind us, and we fucking backed out. But
yeah, there's
some of those Swedish guys take that shit a little too serious sometimes. But I was like, one of those moments where you just walk in, it's like, oh, we probably should be watching this.
Yeah, right. Hey, when you put on a show like Dady, you got to get into it, man. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, that was the only time I saw them. It was back in the 90s. I like the new Hypocrisy a lot too.
That was the other one I was gonna say. Worship is a killer record, man. I fell in love with Children of the Grey and then Chemical Horror. Those two records, or those two songs on the record, were just fucking awesome, man.
He's a master, dude.
Oh, Peter is incredible. I mean, even on the next Crusadist record, there's some hypocrisy in there, and we make it pretty obvious. So they're a big inspiration on me. I mean, his vocals are unbelievable, and his guitar playing and his melody writing just fucking blow me away, man. I love it.
He was just on Rob Dukes' podcast.
Oh yeah,
which he's only done 5 episodes, and I gotta hand it to Dukes. He's done some great stuff. He just did an interview with Tom Hunting, and where Hunting got into the cancer stuff.
Yeah,
and he had Ricky Hunnell on. I mean, the Exodus guys, of course, but he had a guy from Hatebreed.
Nice.
And
Jamie?
No, the guitar player.
Nice, got it.
But he goes in depth. He's pretty cool. He's out there in Arizona. I've known Dukes for a while.
Nice.
Shovelhead Kill Machine is one of my favorite Exodus records.
Yeah, I was gonna say, on my unpopular opinion is I prefer Duke's era Exodus, man.
I'm not gonna go that far, brother.
I don't know, man. There's something about how fucking pissed off that guitar tone is with Gary Holt on those records. It just blows me away, man. I love it.
Now the first time I saw Exodus, Bailoff was still singing for him. So
yeah.
I mean, and I've had close encounters with Bailoff. Let's just put it that way. Over the years, and I love Zet too. I mean, the only time Hatred, before they're coming down the show, we're getting ready to announce. They played for me at NAMM party in like 2012 when he was still in Hatred.
Nice.
They played down here in LA with Agent Steel. How many people? That was like 9 years ago, 8 years ago. NAMM time. I always do something for NAMM, and wow, things change. You know, what do you think of the new Exodus? That was another one of my favorite records this year.
Dude, that record rules. I mean, anything involving Gary Holt is going to be incredible. I mean, Exodus always blows it out of the park.
The dude doesn't get the credit he deserves, man.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Dude, I mean, there's certain guitar players, like you're a guitar player, that you look at their resumes and you're like, holy shit. I mean, and Gary Holt's got Slayer and Exodus. You're like, oh, the only guy that comes close, and he's very underrated, is a friend of mine that I grew up with up in Santa Rosa, North Carolina. That's Steve Smythe.
Not
you know
familiar.
Steve?
I do not.
Let's see. Steve was in one of his first bands, Vicious Rumors.
Okay.
Then he was in Nevermore.
Wait, did you say Steve Smythe?
Smythe, yes.
No, okay, yeah. I remember I watched his videos when he did a couple EMG TV videos.
Yeah.
Right?
He is a pure, and he gives lessons up in the North Bay. But he's been in Testament, Forbidden.
Yeah.
Nevermore. And he actually did some stuff with Eric Peterson and Dragon Lord, too.
Nice.
His resume, you're like, holy shit. And I've known him since like we were 14.
Nice. Yeah.
He's pure shred. But to learn, actually be in a band with fucking Alex Skolnick and fucking what's his name from Nevermore, that blows my mind.
It's unreal, right?
It's got to rub off on you, right? Who are your main influences, guitar-wise, growing up?
Guitar-wise? I mentioned, Peter Toktagren has always been an influence on me. My main influence would have to be Alexi Laiho. I have been, through my middle school and high school years, I listened to so much fucking Children of Bodom, man. Listening to his lead playing just always inspired me. And I think we've gotten some feedback that it shows on the Unholy Grail that there's some Laiho in some of those solos. And yeah, dude, Alexi Laiho is probably the number one for me as far as inspiration goes.
I had him on the show once. We had a listening party Nuclear Blast put on it at the Joint, a place I used to book here in LA. And he came out and DJ'd for a little bit that night. We had him on the show. Cool dude. Rest in peace. For
real.
What'd you think after the Bodom After Midnight stuff?
I loved it. Paint the Sky with Blood was a killer EP, dude. I mean, it was definitely, the thing I liked about it is it sounded like Bodom, and you can tell it was Laiho and some ragtag crew, but it still sounded like Children of Bodom, but it had that life to it that made it sound different, and I loved it personally. I thought it was a great EP. Yeah.
I almost forgot that came out this last year, huh?
Yeah, I think that was.
I could have put that in we only did top 10s. Like I probably would have made my top 20.
I think that might have been, if it wasn't in early 2021, it was like tail end of 2020.
Right on.
I think.
And then the one record that basically influenced like Children of Bodom and these other guys is Carcass.
Yeah.
With Heartwork was the original, but dude, Torn Arteries this year was my number one record.
Nice.
That shit is mind blowing, man. And to think they grabbed the new guitar player out of the Bay Area from Pounder, Tom Draper, who jams with Matt Harvey.
Nice. Yeah, Matt is a fucking killer guitar player, man.
Mm.
I was bummed. I wanted to fly down to Florida to see that Death tribute show that Matt was playing with Terry and Gus.
Everybody, basically. Yeah.
James. I was so bummed. I
watched the live stream. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I've known Matt long time. And Tom Hunting.
He's from out your way, isn't he? He's from
the Bay Area. Yeah.
Nice.
He's a Bay Area guy. He's living in San Luis Obispo now.
Okay.
But he's got every band he's in is good. But Tom Hunting on the podcast I was just telling you about, I mean, his first big interview since coming back from cancer, they were talking about how Dukes became the singer. But before that, they actually offered Matt Harvey to take over as the vocalist. He did like 1 or 2 shows with them.
Yeah.
And Tom gave him the phrase. He's like, bail off, also. But and then Tom finally said, we were so fucked up on fucking speed and shit at that time. Matt was just like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm a big Gruesome fan and a big Exhume fan. So yeah, Matt, I love his playing. His vocals are gnarly. The raspy kind of like almost like tunnel style. It's so cool.
The one shit I like really seeing. I was at the Killian on Command a couple years ago when they had everybody do the violent songs.
Yeah.
And Matt came out. I can't remember what song he did, but he fucking nailed it. And Sean Killian, his phrasing is so hard. Zethro was fucking up all over the place. So is Chuck Billy. But the way the way Sean sings, Matt nailed it though.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Let's get into a track real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk about your tour.
Right on.
Yes, this is what the Unholy Grail right now on
Hell yeah.
Razor Radio. 3, 4, 5. All right, that was Sacrilege BC right there with Fun with Napalm. That's off the Party with God album. Came out a long fucking time ago for some of you people, but very underrated top 10 Bay Area thrash. All right, we're here with fucking Luke Sever from fucking Crusadist. When I first heard the name of you guys, I was thinking, that sounds like a Christian metal band almost.
You're right.
But then I saw the Unholy Grail, and I was like, no, they're not.
Yeah, dude, you'd be surprised. We get a lot of different response when like the initial like reaction of people. A lot of our reviews after we put out the Unholy Grail, everyone thought it was going to be a power metal record, and then
I can see that.
And then they put on the album and they heard Four Blood and Conquest. And it's like, oh, this is death thrash. I mean, it's a little different.
Very good death thrash at that.
Thank you.
So you guys are getting ready to go on tour tomorrow, right?
Hell yeah, we leave tomorrow morning. Yeah, gonna do. This is mostly like middle of the country, but. Yeah, this is the second leg of the Tarantula tour. So this is Inhuman Condition, who has Terry Butler from Death, Obituary, and 6 Feet Under. It's got him, and then Jeremy Kling from The Absence and Venom. And then their guitar player is Taylor Nordberg also from The Absence. He did some touring with Soilwork and whatnot.
That's Venom Inc., right?
Venom Inc., yeah, Venom Inc. And then Taylor's from The Absence. And then I believe for this tour, they have Lee Harrison filling in for them with drums again. So it's just fucking awesome, man. They're an awesome group of people. They took great care of us on the last tour. I mean, Jeremy let us stay in his house when we were just starting the tour last time, which was fucking killer. I mean, they made us breakfast a couple times. They're
right on.
They're killer people, funny. Man. I seriously can't say enough amazing things about them. But yeah, so we're touring with the Human Condition, and then the other band that we're touring with is Macabre from Wisconsin, who we're also buddies with. We've played a few shows with them, but never toured with them.
When I think of Wisconsin, I always think of Macabre.
Yeah, right, Macabre. But yeah, they're another like death metal, modern death metal, whatever you kind of want to call it. They're really fucking good guys, man. They're funnier than hell too.
You gotta have funny people when you're on tour.
Hell yeah, dude. It's when we're all together, it's a whole bunch of ragtag bunch of idiots. So it's fun.
Where does it start tomorrow at?
So the first show is actually on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We just leave tomorrow morning, but the first show's in Texas. So it starts off.
Wow, you got a long drive ahead of you tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, we got 18 hours. Yeah, so
what part of Texas?
So it starts off in Austin, and then we have a couple of Texas dates, and then we got to jet up to Oklahoma, back down to Texas for one extra show. And then I want to say it goes up to Denver, and then Iowa, Nebraska, Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, and then down to we have a day off, and then down to South Carolina, Georgia, and then back home.
Wow,
I probably
that's a big
missed
tour.
1 or 2 dates in there.
You're gonna send me the flyer. I'll post it on the Razor Radio site so everybody can do it. But if you heard one of those dates just now, you guys got to go check these guys out. They're fucking great death thrash. Now you guys are based in Chicago, like you said. How many times you played Reggies? You think?
So with Crusadist, we probably played Reggies like 3 or 4 times, something like that. Reggies is a cool venue because it has 2 separate stages. So there's a giant well, I don't want to say giant, but it's like a club venue, right? So it's probably 500-600 capacity, maybe a little bit more. So it's a club on one side, and then on the other side, it's more of a bar and a restaurant where they have a smaller stage. So that's where they host a lot of like the local shows, and then the big touring bands will play the rock club. And then so we've had the pleasure for opening for a couple bands there. We opened, let's see, we opened for Raven one time.
Oh, right on. John's a friend.
Yeah. So we opened for Raven at Reggies one time. That was like a last minute add-on. That was cool. Like Shane, the guy who Shane Merrill, he books Reggies. He hit us up like a few days before that. He's like, "Can you guys open this?" My band dropped off. We're like, fuck it, let's do it.
Fucking Raven, man.
That's how we roll, man. We like to think we're hardworking, and we'll jump on any opportunity we can get. But we opened for them, which was killer. And then we opened for Kalma when they did their first American tour ever.
Right on.
So it was Kalma and Vreed.
Vreed, yeah, I have that album. That's good shit.
So it was those two, and then Vreed guys were killer. And then I think the other band was Empyrean Throne, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're like a blackened death metal band. They were sweet, man. They put on a wicked
as opposed to Imperialist, which is from here in Southern California.
Yeah. And then the fun part about that show was actually Ex Mortis and Homewrecker were on tour with Venom. And when Venom was playing in Chicago the same night as that show. But they were playing, I want to say it was the Allstate Arena. Like it was a big fucking venue.
Wow.
But they weren't going to have any openers. So Homewrecker and Ex Mortis didn't have a show to play.
They jumped on your show?
They hopped on the Kalma show. So it was Kalma, Vreed, Empyrean Throne, Ex Mortis, Homewrecker, and us. It was a fucking like 7 bands in one show. Reggie's was sold out, packed to the brim. That was a wicked night, man. That was
right
sweet.
On. Now,
and then we've done a couple of local stuff at Reggie's here and there.
That's cool. I mean, that's when I think of Chicago, that's a metal club I think of. It's like when you think of Detroit, you think of Harpo's.
That's our go-to place, dude. Whenever we get an offer to play at Reggie's, it's an instant yes.
Right on. But you talk about jumping on shows and stuff like that. I'm a big Skeleton Witch fan, right? And they were on tour with a couple like new metal bands, and they were like $40 for them to open, but they got an off date in Southern California. And this is like when I first moved to LA. They ended up playing where I used to live in San Diego with Ex Mortis and Witch Haven for $5.
Nice. I love Witch Haven, dude.
Yeah, Henry's a great dude.
I played in a band a while ago that opened for him at this shitty little venue in Chicago. It was like a little DIY place. They tore the fucking place down, man. It was so cool.
Well, that's what I admire about those guys, man. Back in when I first moved to LA, they would jump in the van and they'd go for 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's if you really want to spread your band around, that's the way you do it.
It's the way to do it, man.
You mentioned Raven, the band Night Demon when they first started. I booked their second show ever.
I love Night Demon, dude. And
to watch them, they got a van and toured with fucking Raven across this country, just like some other band we know that might rule metal. Celebrate their 40th anniversary. But they toured with Raven, and Jarvis told me that sometimes they played garages. It was like in some certain towns. It wasn't a club. It was like, but they did that, and look how fast they just.
Yeah, totally. I saw Night Demon when they played with Ghoul.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
they played at Reggie's, and that was such a wicked show. That was like,
was a lot of diversity. Carcass and fucking Carcass and Crowbar too.
Yeah.
That was a great tour. I saw that at the Roxy on the Strip.
Hell yeah.
Very good tour.
Well, and like you said, like the way to spread your name around is just to take risks. To fucking put yourself out there, go and do some crazy shit. Like this tour that we just hopped on with Inhuman Condition, we just toured with them in September on the last leg of Tarantula, right? So we were on tour with them for 2.5 weeks on the East Coast. And then Jeremy came back to us with the offer, like, we're going out again. We want you guys back on. We're like, fuck, that's a really quick turnaround, but let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. That's rock and roll. That's the spirit. And you got to make it happen.
Cool. Just got another tour announcement that I can't make tonight, but that just came through. It's funny how when I go live on the radio, that's when everybody decides to fucking start texting.
Right.
And, I guess I know where he is right now. I can get a hold of him. But I have another show. We have Monochromatic Death playing on January 15th at the Doll Hut. And that's going to be my birthday show. And the great local band Fatal Substance. And I'll be there DJing that night. So come check that out. Let's get into one more track. What did I put? Oh, yes. My handwriting's terrible, man. All right, this is fucking more Crusadist right now on Razor Radio. All right, that was Void Vader with Great Fear Rising. Great local band. Have you heard of Void Vader?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I've listened to them a handful of times, but yeah, I've heard of them. They're a killer band.
They are one of the catchiest fucking bands. I listened to that record all year long. I can't believe it wasn't on more top 10 lists. But then again, it's probably the only band I listen to on Ripple Music.
Talking about catchy bands, man. I'm a big fan of the band Visigoth from Utah.
Oh yeah. I saw them at Metal and Beer a couple
years ago. Man. They are the catchiest fucking band I've ever heard. I love them.
And they're from Utah.
Yeah. You don't hear too many bands coming out of there, so it's cool. I'm all about that old school traditional heavy metal, fucking sword and shield. I'm a huge nerd, so I love the sword and shield stuff, all the battle oriented. I mean, hell, that's half a Crusadist. So
are you a Man of War fan?
Not as much.
Okay, that just takes it a little too far for me.
Right.
The loincloth, yeah. But we did one of the last shows I saw before we went lockdown in the pandemic. I saw Ross the Boss, and we had him on the show. Nice. He's a cool dude. But the early 80s stuff, it's a little too over the top for me. And power metal is just so German to me.
Yeah. I've never gotten into too much power metal, man. Some of it's really good. Like, have you heard of Beast in Black?
Yes.
Beast in Black's cool. Like their first album, Berserker, was really cool. I like that record. I really like Unleash the Archers from Canada, which those guys are sweet. But power metal's really hit or miss for me. I don't know.
Savage Master.
Savage Master's good too. Yeah.
They played a show out here during almost right in the middle of the pandemic with Anger is Art and Blood Feast.
Yep.
And Motor. Yeah, it was a good show. I think people got sick from it, but it was a good show.
Yeah.
What is the mandate thing and stuff like that look for the clubs you guys are playing? Vaccines, cover what? What are they doing?
In Chicago, they just put in the vaccine, like the Vax card rule, but it's who knows if anyone's actually going to enforce it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It varies from state to state. So I'm sure when we get down to Texas, and I'm sure there probably won't be a lot going on there.
No, I think you'll be fine in Texas.
Yeah, as we work our way north, I'm sure they'll get more and more strict. But there was mandates on the last tour, and nothing really came of it. You know what I mean? So we just kind of fly.
You don't be an idiot and go when you're sick. You should be all right.
Basically. I mean, hey, we were on the road for 2.5 weeks and around crowds every single night, and when we got home, no one was sick. You know what I mean? It's good. You take your precautions. Yeah, exactly. You take your precautions and do what you can to make sure everyone stays healthy.
It cracks me up too. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's people out there buying fake vaccine cards.
Yeah.
For like $300 or $400.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, the vaccine's free.
It's true.
You can't make this shit up, man.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, the who I had mentioned before, who was playing with Inhuman Condition.
Now, this is not Jeremy Wagner of Broken Hope, right?
No, this is Jeremy Kling is his name.
Because I know Jeremy's from Chicago too.
Yeah. Jeremy Kling, dude, he's got a hand in everything. He's a killer guy. And like he did sound for Exodus and tour managing for Sepultura. He takes care of a lot of bands. But Deicide on the last tour they did with Cataclysm and Internal Bleeding.
That was in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was. And we were talking to him, and we went to see Deicide in Chicago because Jeremy was running sound for him. So we went to hang out with him and see Deicide, obviously, and see Cataclysm. But he was telling me that no one got sick that tour. You know what I mean? It's if you take your precautions, you can make it happen. And especially, I think they played 16 sold-out shows that tour. That's
awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. Well,
I think everybody was...
Death metal is alive and well. And it ain't going
I think everybody was hungry for some stuff too, because it had been a while since anybody had played. But then on the flip side of that, I've got my ticket for April here in Southern California for the Bay Strikes Back tour, which Testament, Exodus, Death Angel, and those guys were caught in Europe in the middle of this thing hit, and poor fucking Will Carroll almost died.
Yeah.
And I've known him for we had him on the show right after that, and it's like that's the flip side. It's like, but then again.
I feel so bad for all those the bands that first round tour when the shit all happened. I'm a big Insomnium fan.
Oh yeah,
and they were touring in America at the time the pandemic hit, and they played. I want to say they only played 1 or 2 shows, and then the whole thing got shut down, and then they were stuck in the States because they couldn't get home.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's and they're from Finland. I'm like, man, you're a long way from home. That's I can't imagine that.
Yeah. Well. I don't know if you're old enough to remember 9/11.
Of course.
They grounded everything, all the planes for like 4 days. It took my dad was in like I I think he was in Texas or something like that. And it took him 4 days to get home after 9/11.
Yeah.
That
well,
was crazy.
With the pandemic, like I know Europe was super picky, and same with America about people, who they were letting in and where they were coming from. So man, those bands that were already on tour at that point, I feel for them.
Oh, that's the reason I didn't go to Psycho Fest last year.
Really?
Well, yeah, because Merciful Fate's one of my all-time favorite bands.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Merciful Fate since 1984. I saw them twice that year on the Don't Break the Oath tour. Once opening for Motorhead and once headlining at the Kabuki in San Francisco. But I was like, Fate, King Diamond, and then they dropped off. And then Emperor dropped off. And it was like, I'll refund my 4-day ticket. But who did they replace fucking Emperor with? But Exodus. And it was like my favorite band. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm getting ready. The one thing I'm going to knock on wood, I'll be at MDF this year. I go about every 4 or 5 years. And since they're bringing back the Edison lot, I'm going out to Baltimore.
Fuck yeah, dude. I really want to make it because Dismember's headlining, and Dismember is my all-time favorite band.
Definitely a big Swedish death metal guy, huh?
I'm a huge Swedish death dude. My phone right now is rested on an HM2.
That's awesome. Well, dude,
yeah, dude, I'm a huge.
That is the pedal.
Swedish death metal fan.
That is the pedal.
Hell yeah.
I have. Matter of fact, here you go. You have this.
Nice. Hell yeah.
This is the Swedish death metal book by Daniel Kuroth. It gives the history, and the great thing is on the inside he wrote, "To Andy, this book will kill God." If you haven't read it, it's a fucking great book.
Quality book, man. Yeah, exactly. Dude, Dismember and Entombed, man. I listen to them 24/7, and there's a lot of new bands that are carrying that torch too. I mean, Entrails is really good, also from Sweden. And there's another band called I don't know if it's Lick or Leak, but I know it means Leak. Yeah, I know it means corpse in Swedish. That's what I know. But those guys fucking rip, man. I listen to all these bands fucking 24/7. The something about that Swedish buzzsaw tone it tickles me, man. There's nothing more pissed off than it.
It's that pedal.
Hell yeah, it's all
the mids.
Yeah.
And I think Millie said it from Creator once. Every guitar player from Sweden's good.
Hell yeah. There's something in the water out there.
And then some of the bands, like I'm a huge early In Flames fan, and before I don't know where they went, but I mean, Jester Race and fucking Colony, those are fucking great records.
Yeah, I mean, same with Horacle. Those are all great records. And I'm a fan of At the Gates too, but like the Gothenburg sound was never intrigued me as much as the
You're not a metalcore guy though,
huh?
You're not a metalcore guy.
I'm not.
You're a thrash death guy.
Yeah,
but if you're a metalcore guy, a crossover guy, fuck, Darkest Hour owes half their career to fucking At the Gates.
Hell yeah, yeah. I mean, Slaughter to the Soul is
that's a fucking classic.
Of course, yeah. I still jam that record all the time, and that's one thing I appreciate about At the Gates is they took that HM2 sound, but they, for lack of a better term, they kind of refined it, right? They made it a little bit tighter. It didn't sound quite so dirty. But that's the reason I love it, because it sounds so dirty and gross, man. It sounds like you're coming out of a grave. It's sick.
I saw them twice on the Slaughter to the Soul tour. Once opening for Napalm and once opening for Morbid Angel.
Hell yeah.
But you wouldn't have At the Gates though without Carcass's hard work though.
No, absolutely not. You wouldn't have melodic death metal at all if it wasn't for hard work.
Yeah, that's true. And I still think they're probably one of the most underrated metal bands in the entire world. And the way they've gone from playing complete grindcore to fucking melodic death metal to I don't even know what you call them now. It's just it's just metal.
Yeah. I know I'm shit with subgenres, man. I'm always like, yeah, that's a death metal band. It's just
it's thrash. It sounds thrash to me.
Yeah, but, exactly.
Dude, what is brutal death metal and slam? And I'm 53 years old, so it's like I don't know what brutal death metal is.
I got nothing, man. I just know, that's heavy as fuck. That's death metal. It's growling and double bass and real heavy riffs. That's death metal. Yeah, that's all I know.
Me, exactly. Too. I remember, and people get so specific about the fucking genres. Fucking Judas Priest was on The Simpsons a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they called him a death metal band. And fucking the next week, poor Bart's writing on the chalkboard, Judas Priest is not a death metal band. Yeah, the pop culture reference is great. I don't know if you watch Cobra Kai. Do you watch Cobra Kai?
I have not. I've been told to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
It's pretty. If you watch Karate Kid, it's good. But in the 4th episode of the season, they drop a fucking Exodus, fucking Bonded by Blood.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, they mentioned Bonded by Blood.
I love when that happens, man. There was the Power Rangers movie. I didn't see it, but I did watch. I did watch some. I watched a little bit of it that they played Revocation, and that's why I was in on it, man. I'm like, all right, fine, I love this movie.
Last time Revocation is a good band, and I saw them play with Exhumed right after I had a heart attack a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Matt brought me up on stage. That was fun. But the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma. Now, here's the question I got to ask you guys. You guys are doing all this touring stuff. When are you going to make it to the West Coast?
That's the next stop, man. We just did we just did East Coast, and then now we're doing kind of middle of the country, and we're working our way over there. So that's hopefully we're hoping to get over there in the summer sometime, but we're working on it. West Coast is next.
Cool. You could maybe tour with the same bands if they want to do that, or
dude, we'll get over there with anyone. I mean, we want to work hard, and we want to keep spreading the name. So I mean, if it's in Human Condition again, fuck yeah, we'll do it. I mean, those guys are awesome. They take great care of us. I mean, we've talked with Ex Mortis a couple times with doing some shit, and we just want to make it happen. I mean, if we go out there by ourselves, we don't give a fuck. We'll go out there.
I'll talk to you a little bit offline too, because I'm getting back into booking shows again. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll do something out here.
Yeah.
If you could tour anywhere right now, where would you guys go?
I mean, the obvious answer is Europe, dude. Europe is it's the prime spot for death metal, especially death metal of our style. You know what I mean? We I do a lot of our riff writing, so obviously that's where the European sound comes in, because I'm super influenced by European heavy metal. And dude, to play a fest like Wacken would be a dream come true. Anything over there. I mean, we have a fan base over there, and our management is working to get us overseas. It's just, especially with COVID, it's tough, and it's expensive. It's expensive. That's the big part. So we've been offered a couple tours, but the timing wasn't right to make it happen.
Right on.
But Europe would be up there.
That's my thing. If you want to know how a band's really truly made it, it's when a European band comes and tours America. Mm-hmm. Or when a fucking American band goes and tours Europe. I pretty much believe in that, because you see the band just like kind of blow up after that.
Totally. And I mean, European fans are just so into the melodic side of things, and that's my jam.
That goes back to the new wave of British heavy metal, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my jam. Anything that's I love stuff that's super heavy. I mean, I'm a huge American death metal fan. I mean, I love Deicide and Morbid Angel and Malevolent Creation. Deicide is constantly in my rotation. I'm on my on my records.
Legion, I hope.
Yeah, Legion. I mean, I'm a big fan of Overture of the Damned.
Once Upon a Cross.
Yeah, Once Upon a Cross, and then I listen to In the Minds of Evil all the time too. So
yeah, that's all right. Funny I'm more of a Roadrunner Deicide guy.
When we were on the last tour, we were staying at Jeremy Kling's house.
Okay.
And we all got up, had coffee, we were having breakfast, and we were all waiting to head out because we were going to play Tampa at the Brass Mug that night. And we're all getting up, having breakfast. They made us biscuits and gravy.
Awesome.
And we're all sitting there, and then we hear a knock on the door, and we turn our head, and Glenn Benton pumps his head into Jeremy Kling's house, and he's just like, "Yeah, I need my tools." Like we're all looking around, we're like, did we just fucking see that, or are we stoned? Did that just happen?
Or are we still dreaming? Yeah,
right.
We didn't wake up yet.
Exactly. It was sweet.
Yeah. The first time I was around him was in the early 90s. It was they used to do this thing called Foundations Forum out here in Burbank, where everybody got together and played. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't really been around him, and we hang out with the Biohazard guys and shit like that. And he was in the bar, and he had just reburned the cross in his forehead. And it was like, that guy seems a little fucking creepy,
Dude, that mark's still there. That mark's
still there, dude, that's scarred in his forehead, a la fucking Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
But Deicide puts on a pure death metal show. I mean, I saw them tour with Morbid Angel around the turn of the century too. A show at used to be the Pound in San Francisco. Is Morbid Angel, Deicide, Soylent Green, Dragon Lord, and Zyklon B.
Soylent Green. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, that was a crazy fucking show.
Yeah.
So besides touring, what else are you looking for show wise? You guys, you doing any like MDF or?
I mean, so
either personal or with
we've started like applying for fests and whatnot and putting our name out there and all that shit. I mean, before COVID, we were supposed to play in Lexington, Kentucky, Auditory Carnage Fest. That was going to have Vulvodynia and Wormhole headlining.
Wormhole, I like Wormhole.
Yeah, Wormhole's cool. So we were supposed to play that, and then we've tried to get on Oh, it's a fest out in Illinois. Actually, it's one of the only like open air fests in the States.
Yeah. Where they had the fucking golf cart fucking mosh pit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, dude. That funny story. I know the guy that started that pit.
Yeah, really, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've watched that video a bunch of times, and dude, golf cart mosh pit.
Yeah, he fucking that guy. His name's Lawrence. He's a great dude. He goes to shows all the time around here, and we love him. As soon as we saw that, we're like, oh, that's fucking killer, man. Represent Chicago.
Well,
yeah.
My next big thing.
We would love to play, dude. Any fest that we could get our hands on, we'll do it. And like I said, we don't want to whore ourselves out, but it's we're hard workers. We try and fucking get our name out there the best we can.
Yeah.
I know
and this month for me out here in SoCal, we have the California Death Fest.
Hell yeah!
Autopsy and fucking Mortician, Bird Flesh, Onslaught. Yeah, that's the 28th. I'll be there on the Saturday, hanging out. And Joe Candelaria's birthday on the 21st of the Stardust. I'll be DJing that too. But let's
You're a busy man.
How can people get? You're gonna have copies of the record with you guys out on tour?
Oh yeah. So we'll have we have physical copies of the Unholy Grail. So you can pick up physical, digital. We did a full distribution on it, so it's on every platform you can imagine. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all that streaming shit, and we have the physical copies too. So then we also printed shirts for it too. The fucking full color with the red logo and Holy Grail.
And
title
you'll have
on
those at all the dates on the tour, right?
Hell yeah, we're gonna have them every single night. So we have 5 or 6 different shirts, and we have a bunch of new merch that we got for this tour specifically. So we're stoked. And then we're working on a coffee too with everybody's
got coffees.
What's that?
I said everybody's coming out with coffees.
I know, right? Yeah. So we're doing 2 new coffees with Mosh Pit Eats. They're based out of Georgia. And Shauna, the graphic designer for them, she was the one that put me in touch with you, and she's a great person.
I know her well.
Yeah, she's awesome. So we're working on a coffee with them, and hopefully that'll be here. That should actually be here pretty soon. So we got a couple blends of coffee. We got a bunch of shirts. All the usual shit. We try and.
What about a beer? Because that's the thing. That was my last big. I went to the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest out here with Converge and fucking Dead Guy and Night Demon, and all the bands are coming out with beers.
Yeah, we did a beer.
Oh, really?
We had one made for us a couple years ago. We called it the Beheaded King Ale, and it was I want to say it was an APA, American Pale Ale, but it ended up being almost blood red, man. It was fucking sick.
Right on.
So we did it with 18th Street Brewery in Hammond, Indiana. Which, if you're ever in the Midwest, if you're in Indiana, dude, check it out.
Good brewery, huh?
Yeah, it's an awesome brewery, and they have really good food, and they actually have a giant area in the brewery for throwing shows. So
that's cool.
We had the beer brewed by them, and then we threw a big beer release party, which ended up being a huge success. And they're really cool people. So
next album, probably another beer, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we're hoping. We'll see.
Right on.
We'd love all that kind of stuff. We're all in on it, man. We'd love to Kuma's Corner in Chicago. We'd love to do a burger with them and do another beer.
I'd like to come out and do a show there because I do shows at Grill 'Em All out here. That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
Grill 'Em All, fucking those guys are the best. And their drummer plays in a band called Trappist, which is all about beer too.
Nice.
With the guys from Spaz and Crom.
Okay.
But my favorite current metal beer, though, is Armored Saints Symbol of Salvation, which is a Belgian wheat.
I haven't tried that one.
It's fucking good. All right, dude. Have safe travels on the tour. Oh, before we go, I'm going to play Only the Fearless Ride. We're going to end with that.
Look, yeah.
And, tell me about that song, though. Is it what are they riding? Is it bikes? Is it fucking horses? What?
I mean, in our world, it's horses. Yeah, right. So Only the Fearless Ride is... that song is definitely about overcoming adversity. It's the thing about Crusadist is it's not negative. You know what I mean? It's dark and brutal and heavy, but all of the message behind all the songs is always positive.
That's cool.
And Only the Fearless Ride. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, it's you're surrounded by devastation and fire and fucking everything's dead basically, and it's a war zone. You've conquered. You've conquered the fight you needed to do. You burned down the castle. You killed the king. Whatever that means in your life, whatever that applies to,
you're winning.
That's what that means. And Only the Fearless Ride. I mean, we say that sometimes just as a stupid saying. We're like, fuck it, Only the Fearless Ride. Let's do it.
Right on. I like that.
Yeah. So and then at the end of the song, that's why that fade out happens. It's like, all right, well, we've conquered what we came here to conquer. Now it's time to move on to the next battle. You know, that's how life works. It doesn't just stop. You know, time stops for no man. So all these songs they mean something good to us at least, and we hope other people hear it too.
Well, Luke, have a safe tour, man.
I'm
sure I'll talk to you more soon. But right now, this is only the Fearless Ride from Crusadist on Razor Radio. See ya.